Hello, my name is Joanna Kulik, and in this video we will continue our series of programming lessons using WildLogin Studio to control our intelligent house. And now we will focus on our bedroom and how we can control the lights inside our bedroom in an efficient manner. We will start as an outline with the electronics connection, and then we will write an application that just detects motion to turn on the lights. Then we will focus on detecting the light level in the room, and finally we will read both the motion and light to obtain an efficient lighting system inside our bedroom of our intelligent house. In regards to the electronics, we have a PIR sensor, which basically detects motion, and it is a digital sensor that you can see here in the schematic. And we have a photoresistor. This is basically like a resistor that changes its value based on the light we have in the room. This is why it's also called LDR, which means light-driven resistor. And finally, we have an LED, which is the one that lights up our bedroom. We have the photoresistor connected on the analog pin 26. We have the motion sensor connected on GPIO 4, and we have the LED connected on GPIO 0. So first of all, we want to build a simple application that just reads motion using the PIR sensor, and in case there's motion in the room, it lights up the LED, otherwise it just turns off the LED. And for this, we just initialize the digital pin 4 as an input pin, and we keep on reading values coming from the motion sensor. Basically, the values are 1 if there's motion, or 0 if there's none, or true or false. So we just check if the value we get is equal to 1 or is true. Then we set high pin 0, so we turn on the LED. Otherwise, we just turn the LED off. Next, we will change the motion sensor with the light sensor. So now we want to have the LED turned on if there is no light in the room. Now we initialize the analog pin 26 to start reading values from the photoresistor. And if the values we read are lower than 700, then we turn on the LED. Otherwise, we turn it off. Here it's important to keep in mind that this 700 value was made using a couple of sequential readings, and in our case, we notice that 700 is the threshold point at which we can consider that there is light, or if it's below, there's dark. You should make some readings on your own and adjust this value based on the ambient light that you have in your room, because this might change. And finally, we want to read both motion and light to have an intelligent control of our lights in the bedroom. And here we have the following behavior. So we want to have the LED turned on if there is no ambient light and there is motion in the room. Otherwise, we want the lights to be off. And of course, we want to have a change in the status of the light only if there's a change in our state. We don't want to keep on controlling the lights, setting the lights on no matter what, and we don't want to keep on setting the lights off no matter what. Only when a change in our state occurs, this is when we want to have the LED turned on or off. So basically, we would just want to change the state. This is why we take two variables. We have ambient light state and we have movement state. At first, we initialize them to false. Ambient light state will tell us if we are in a state when there's ambient light. So basically, we don't need to turn on the LED. And movement state will tell us if there is movement in our room. Now, inside the while block, we do the following. First of all, we read the ambient light. And if there is light, we set the variable ambient light to true. So it tells us that there is light in the room, and of course, we don't have to turn on the LED. So inside the if block, we check if there is ambient light, and we also check what was the state of the ambient light before. So if we have ambient light in the room, and before this iteration, the ambient light state was set to false, so we didn't have light previously, that means that we need to turn off the LED. We need to turn off the lights. And we set low pin 0, And we set the variable ambient light state to true, because now we have ambient light in the room. Otherwise, if we are in the case that there is no ambient light, we need to see if there's motion in the room. So now we set the ambient light state to false if there's no ambient light in the room. And now we read the movement that we store inside the movement variable. And now we check if there is movement in the room. If there is movement and there wasn't movement before, that means that we want to set movement state to true and we want to turn on the LED. Because now we are in the case where there is no ambient light, and if there's also movement, we set the LED to on. If we are in the other case, where there is no movement, and the movement state before was set to true, so I had movement before, then I want to set low the pin, basically want to turn off the lights. And this is how we can control our lights in an intelligent manner and save energy. So in this video, we saw how we can control lights based on movement and ambiental lights using a PIR sensor and a photoresistor. Thank you.